Wait, who is that? Is that the former co-host or the returning co-host of the Moving Sucks podcast?
It's my understanding real estate and content creators were different jobs. I've been busy, getting a lot of deals through. I should have my previous year's collective year ends in the next month or so.
You can't grow until you take things off your plate. So, sometimes taking a step back to just focus on the things that really move the needle is the name of the game.
Like I said, I signed up to be a real estate agent, not a content creator, because I'm
Well, and
not
also,
the best. I'm not the best social media influencer content person out there, but I'm good at my job.
I don't get my friends who are like, "Oh my God, where's Jenn? Where's Jenn?" Like
Saying it in the back of their head, they just don't want
going
to.
through a fog. Like, where's Jenn? Where's Jenn? No, it is. They're like, dude, I love that episode. Like, because it just brought because I've been talking
Thank
a lot about.
God you got rid of Jenn.
All right, we are back. I found someone in my travels, and I don't really recognize her. I'm not exactly sure who she is.
She has she's sitting in an actual office.
Wait, who is that? Is that the former co-host or the returning co-host of the Moving Sucks podcast?
Seth ditched me.
I did not.
Yeah, he ditched me. You're like, you know what? Screw her. I'm gonna make this thing blow up all by myself, and I'm gonna record on Mondays without even telling her.
That's not at all what happened, but that's okay. So,
I've gotten a lot of demand. The people have been wondering where I'm at. The fans.
well, the interesting thing is, yet they're still listening, because the only way they would know that you're not on it is if they were continuing to listen to my venerable wisdom. So, but no, I was told that you have this amazing topic to talk about today, and that you are ready to absolutely blow us away with all of your research and studious studious care of the market and the buyer trends, and how I ran, and inflation with the relates to stagflation and all the economic integrations of all of it. So why don't you take us away? What is it that you've been researching and working so hard on that you've abandoned this podcast for several months?
Yeah, no, that's actually exactly what I've been doing. I ditched the podcast to go in to pursue economics full time.
You
Full
should know
set.
economics. You should know economics, Jen.
All of it. I know all of the macro and all of the micro, and
Cool.
I have majored in some poli sci, and I got a government job.
You did.
Drilling for oil.
Listen, you had actually, in all seriousness, you did. You had an interesting post last week. Why don't you tell us about it? Because you were getting some questions from the people, and that's who we care about.
Okay, if you want me to be able to go on a rant, that's an easy one. No, I mean, I've been probably quiet socially. It's probably or as far as social media is concerned, it's the only way you'll ever find me be quiet. But no, there's been people asking oh, well, you're not posting much. You must not be busy, and among a million other just kind of standard things that we hear across the market of, oh, well, things must be slowing down, blah, 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 blah. But there's what I wanted to touch on of people saying well, you haven't been posting much, so you must not be too busy. And I'm like, no, I've been busy, which is why I haven't been able to post much. And I was probably I don't know how, when I signed up for wanting to be in real estate, it's my understanding real estate and content creators were different jobs. Not in today's world, I guess, but I've been busy. So I've been actually getting a lot of deals through. I should have my previous year's collective year ends in the next month or so. So I had to take something off of my plate as far as being a full-time only parent and actually practicing full-time real estate agent, among countless other full-time things all bundled into one. Housekeeper, cook, whatever you will. So I kind of tabled the podcast and hadn't been posting much about what I've been doing, but it's been a lot. And yeah, my post was about just debunking things that we're hearing a lot of. Market slowing down. It's a result of people looking at national headlines because people are going down to Florida and are getting a bunch of deals, but that's your favorite passion topic. But up here, we're still cranking things out.
Yeah. Well, we can make this just a life teachable moment here for a second. I mean, I sat with you after the new year and said that in order for you to take the next step into your career, like you need to take something off your plate, and
And I said, here, find one. By all
yeah,
means, I'm begging.
yeah, and you're not the kind of person you're gonna just give up stuff. So I was like, there's some optional things that take up your bandwidth that you know that are optional. So let's talk about those. Like your son is not optional. Your house, like taking care of your house and car and whatever, is not optional. So we want to make sure that we don't try to put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, right? So, and it worked.
But if anybody will try, it would be me.
Yeah, well, no, that's like most people. I mean, most people just try to do everything all at the same time. We've got this huge, huge effort to get people to click buy, subscribe, onboard, whatever, all this shit. And sometimes, and I've said this before, is subtraction by or addition by subtraction. You can't grow until you take things off your plate. So, but no, if I don't know if like we hadn't done that, maybe it'd still be the same, but it's just not even coming into your mental space. Allowed you to go and grab some. You had like 2 really good weeks where you got a lot of shit on your contract.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that sometimes taking a step back to just focus on the things that really move the needle, is the name of the game. But it also says that there's people out there still transacting.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, we have this podcast and it's great. And I mean, I'm still going to be on it, but we are practicing real estate agents.
Yes.
And like we are thoroughly in it. And that is the priority, is actually taking care of people. And, it's putting out the good word and good advice and keeping people in the know with this. But I'm practicing.
Yeah. Well, we're in the practice of taking good care of people, but also we need to take care of ourselves. And I need to take that advice from time to time too. So going back to your social media posts, let me ask you something. Do you think that social media as a real estate agent actually gets you business?
I think it gives you credibility. I don't know twofold. I think that there's some if I'm looking at it as a consumer, and actually this is something I'd love to know from somebody who's like not even in the industry, because the way I see it is, if somebody is posting so much and it had like such a high like quality level on social media, that takes a lot of time. And between like scripting and filming it, and like, I mean, you can even send it off to get edited, but like even just showing up to do it, I'd rather spend that time actually like servicing my clients and finding new clients and building my real estate business than by pumping it out on social media. But at the same time, people don't know what you're doing or that you're doing things, then do you get business? So I don't know. I think that it can. I think that when I've posted on social media, like my friends, it triggers them to remind them, like, oh yeah, there's Jenn. Oh yeah, we were talking about that. And I've had people just reach out to me, and that's how I've helped people get their next homes, because they saw my story of what I was doing that day. But
Yeah. I think
I think it's
I think social media, from like going and getting cold leads, is like that's a totally different thing. I've come to believe that real estate agents they put way too much weight in social media.
like
Like
I
way.
said, I signed up to be a real estate agent, not a content creator, because
Well, and
the
also,
best. I'm not the best social media influencer content person out there, but I'm good at my job.
but here's my question: is that how is somebody a financial planner, an accountant, or a lawyer, and they become successful by building a book, insurance, by building a book? But you don't see any of those people in mass on social media. You don't see anybody being like, "Hey, just close this like great umbrella policy. Just close this like huge account, like huge $4 million estate I just
There's
got."
so many of us.
I know there's so
Our
many of us,
industry is so saturated.
and that's the argument that they'll say, like, you have to stand apart, and the only way to do that is social media. And I say, horseshit. There's no way.
being good
that
at what you do.
well, there's other ways to get business. So, like, there's a guy, and the listener of this podcast probably won't know him, but his name is Brian Buffini, and he's one of these old school coaches. He's probably like in his late 60s, and um, his whole thing is about building like your business by sphere and like nurturing relationships and like doing pop bys, like going knocking on your friends' doors and like stopping by, building like ask them about their day, like and actually being like a person that cares about your client. Not to say every like the people on social media don't, but he has been on like a full court press to be like, yeah, there is not a whole lot of relationship between the best agents or the that's
I'm
okay. We'll edit that.
so busy.
You're so busy. You know what? You can just go. You can just go. You gotta go. No, but there's very little to be said about the best agent or the highest producing agents in any market and their presence on social media. Like the highest producing agents, the best real estate agents probably are not on social media at all. And so the reason I'm mentioning this for the consumer. It's like that person. Now, listen, if you're doing social media and you're like off, like being an idiot on social media, like you shouldn't get any business. But does like all this effort and energy on advertising on social media under like the auspices of like that's where the eyeballs are. Is it actually creating business? And like, are those people in mass helping consumers? Because 74% of all people only interview one agent. And almost all 90% of them came by either by referral or they're like a past client. So then you have to think about like, and I'm going to ask the consumer, like, are people finding their realtor online? I'm not talking about Zillow. I'm talking about like, I see them on
On
Instagram. I
TikTok.
like them. What do you think?
Will somebody be finding their person? That's how? No.
Well, why not?
Because there's too many of us. Somebody knows somebody. I mean, it's like, you can like enjoy watching that person, but like, do you trust them? Or do you know somebody who trusts them? People like, they'll be like, oh, I saw this and, like follow it, like it, whatever. And like sometimes absolutely maybe depending on like how big and successful you've
Did
built
you
it
just
and
say
what kind of
absolutely? Did you just say absolutely maybe?
absolutely maybe.
Absolutely maybe. That's nice. Right on.
Yeah. How do you like that absolute statement?
So you're really going all in there, Jen.
Absolutely
Let's continue.
maybe
Why don't you continue
because
and continue making your very vague and non-committal point?
because nothing is fully black and white. I mean, it could be somebody's putting out if there's somebody who's putting out like very content that is actually relevant, it's going to help somebody that like helps build trust with somebody. I think it could.
Yeah.
If it's gimmicky and just like fun stuff and silly, like oh my God, I cannot count how many times I have been sent the emo realtor um, in my DMs. Everybody sends it to me. And it's like, I love that. I think it's hilarious, but I don't think that's going to be how somebody will pick their agent.
I think it hurt. I think social media hurts us all. I really do. I don't think we've used it the right way. I think that there's some agents who do a really great job. Really do. But I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of people who I think there's a lot of agents out on social media who just kind of like put themselves out there as almost like not hobbyists, but just unserious,
Mhm.
And I've never been jokey on social media. I'm never going to be. I'm never going to like get out of my comfort zone and all that because I feel strongly about the idea that this is a serious job and like as markets worsen, it's only going to get more so. Like people want serious
Well,
people
just
to sell for them.
look at what like the conversation we're gonna be having. Short, like I having to provide our value of like what we actually do. I think it kind of takes out the seriousness of what we do.
It does. There's no other profession that does this shit. No, and then
Because
no, we're
last
not
week
regulated.
when I went on my my paragraph bullet spree, there's another oxymoron of paragraphs and bullets, but of going through what it is that like we actually do and what we're paid for, and that we don't get paid to like just throw a listing up in the MLS and then just like dick around on social media. Like I put together a so far 2-page almost single spaced list of everything that goes into what we're doing.
Mhm.
But that's not the stuff you're going to find on social media.
That's
I
what
mean, we can do a whole episode on the list I gathered and put together.
we did a whole episode on what?
I said we could do a whole episode of the list that I put together.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And but I feel the whole business, and it's like, and I was talking to the at our company, the broker of New Jersey, the New Jersey broker, John, and I was saying like all these masterminds, all they ever teach all these agents now is about social media,
And it
and
makes me
because
honestly, it gets me nervous because, and like, listen, I love real, and that I don't ever want you to have to sit down to have another PowerPoint presentation with me ever again of leaving to go somewhere else. But they're very social media heavy. And it makes me feel like, oh my God, am I going to get left behind? And then I remind myself, no, there is evolution that needs to happen within the industry. Like I love that. I like video house tours and not
Mhm.
like what it was before of just like, a frame by frame, but actually like an agent going through and how like creative that side of it's going to go, like videography in marketing. But that's like marketing a property. And I think a
Yeah,
lot of the emphasis has been put on, showboating us. Look at
yeah.
me, not look at this property, and getting away from what the whole purpose of our job is to provide value to sell property.
Yeah, and I will defend real. Like I think you can learn anything here.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm
the
not
social
knocking her
media thing
anyway.
that
It's
always
just
comes.
it's very social media heavy more than I've been used to.
Well, it is. I mean, but I mean, I do think that at the very least, the agent should understand social media. There's a lot of people who don't like, there's a lot of brokerages out there who don't teach any of it. But when you go to these like brand agnostic things, like it's all about like, hey, how to convert leads from social media. Hey, how to like get more, how to build a brand on social media. And it's really easy to talk about for these people who get up on stages because it's not really quantifiable. It's more just like, hey, like you just put a bunch of stuff out there and hopefully it comes back. Now, if you're doing like paid leads and that kind of thing, which is a totally different thing and sucks. I wouldn't want those leads. I don't want those leads. And I'm sure there are people who go, oh, you don't understand how to deal with them. I'm like, nah, I just don't want to talk to people who click on a button on Facebook to get their realtor. Like I just that those aren't my people. But I would love to have agents take half of those social media classes and learn really how to do this business better, understand their docs and like do all that stuff. But it's not. You're never going to get people into a room. You're not going to get any dopamine addicted realtors into a room by saying, "Hey, we're going to do a deep dive on the agreement of sale in this mastermind." Like nobody will come to that. It'll be crickets.
You don't think?
No, I don't.
I don't
Either
think
either
that's
other
heavily
people other
recommended,
people
but
are
I'd be really curious to know. I'd be really interested to know about the people who do go to it.
those people are going to be top shelf.
Mhm.
Because they don't know what they don't know. But the realtors are going to fall in two tranches. One, they think they already know it well enough, and two, that sounds boring as shit.
I mean, it probably is boring as shit, and
It sounds like a
there's a lot.
continuing ag course.
It's 14 pages though of like things that everybody can probably use a little bit of a brush up on.
Yeah, but you and
Like
I
I
are of a
said,
different philosophy. You and I are learners. We like to understand things and want to make sure that we have absolutely everything dialed in. That's not most realtors, and frankly, that's not in most professions.
well, remember there was that. So in the 2024, when docs were getting like updated after the settlement, I expected some massive overhaul for again PA that is, and it was really important to me to go on to that very what would think you'd think to be very boring Zoom meeting of Pennsylvania Association of Realtors going through all the docs that changed and we changed about them. Newsflash, it was like a couple lines in like 3 of them. But like that's the kind of, I got off that call and came back to you and was like, I wish everybody who was licensed had to attend that call
Yeah.
because, and I'm finding in regular practice, I can tell people who hadn't or who haven't kept up on it just by like CPCs alone.
Yeah. And I just, I think that there should be less emphasis on social media. And now we're talking about AI, which is like a whole other thing. Now everyone's become content creators, and now everyone's got to become AI specialists.
Well, I
And it's
think
like,
it's important to know because it's a thing that's very present now in the world and it's a new thing that like nobody's used to or knows. And I think it is important to be aware of it and to know about it and learn about it. But
I'm not against AI. I actually think
oh, I know that.
I would lean towards AI before social media because AI it lets us do our job better. Social media doesn't do shit for our like actual work. Yeah, some marketing, yeah, but like AI will like make us more organized. It'll execute things. It'll answer emails in the middle of the night. Like it will do things that will serve the consumer. Social media for me is largely a vanity exercise. Unless you're coming like we do, like you come with the goods, you come with education, you come with value. And I do believe there's a value to that in terms of brand building and getting like good information out there. And that's what this podcast is about. And that's what I've been doing since you took a sabbatical or whatever. Is like talking about current events. Like people don't know about what the hell's going to happen this Iranian thing, you know, and interest rates were right at 6, and now they're at 6.5.
I know. I'm so peeved. I have friends
Yeah.
who I was helping them, and I'm just running their estimated costs before we went under contract and did their highest case scenario estimate. That was no longer they locked in higher than that because of that whole thing.
Well, the thing is, like, I had 7 people lined up for refinances,
It was at
and
5.9.
I only got 3 of them
I
through.
got what I wanted. I got what I've been saying I've wanted for the past like 3 years, which is just, or yeah, 2, 3 years of just like throw a 5 in front of it. There is a clip that exists from the podcast where I said, from your kitchen, if Eunice wants to find it somewhere, of saying, just give us 5.99, just have a 5 in front of it psychologically. And we had it. We
We
had
had it
it
for
a
about a week.
couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
And it's gone.
and it's gone, and it's gonna be hard to get back to that, at least in the short term. But no, but I wanted to give people the information they need, and that's the feedback I get, Jen. I don't get my friends who are like, "Oh my god, where's Jen? Where's Jen?" Like,
I'm saying it in the back of their head. They
it's
just
like
don't want her
going
to.
through a fog, like, "Where's Jen? Where's Jen?" No, it is, they're like, "Dude, I love that episode," like, 'cause it just brought brought 'cause I've been talking a
Thank
lot about
God you got
economics.
rid of Jen.
No, no, not at all, but, like, I've been talking a little bit more about politics and economics because politics and economics is I hate to tell everybody, that is gonna become much, much more of a feature, and it always is, of the housing market, but much, much more in the future
Well, yeah.
is
Why
going.
do you think I took my sabbatical to go major in it?
That's right. Yeah, you're poli sci. So what aspects of political science, fascinate you the most, John?
We don't want to go there on this
We don't wanna
podcast.
go there. No, no, we don't wanna talk about the okay, that's fine. What, did you learn about some geopolitical aspects of things? Loan
Uh-huh.
programs?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to spoil it for everybody. I
Yeah, I mean, we've got
think it's like
so many
it's
episodes
such
now.
a high level that I wouldn't want to lose the audience, you know?
That's totally fair. Well, listen, I'm glad you're back, and, we're just gonna wade in here with you, and we'll talk
Seth
about,
likes that I'm actually pumping out double the business I've done over the past 4 years. So
humble brag.
humble brag.
Hey,
So
yeah, you're keeping up with everybody, so and yeah, the whole team's doing great. So that's good. And that despite the interest rates, despite the market, despite jobs and all the uncertainty and all the bad information you get out there, people are still transacting, and I'm just glad that they keep calling us. So,
well,
um,
I was even asked recently, well, are the interest rates going to, does that mean that I'm going to get less offers on my house?
good.
Mhm.
Depending on the price point, lower price point, yeah,
I said maybe. There's a chance instead of 7 you might get 3, but like that's plenty for what you need.
you only need one. Yeah, but the interest rates aren't gonna be the thing. The
They
interest
haven't
rates
been.
aren't going to be the thing that stop people really. It's gonna be the narrative of the uncertainty in the market.
Well, and it hasn't been. I had that conversation. We were talking about that in my networking group, either like in like January end of last year or something. And somebody in our group had brought that up and asked about it. And I was like Megan and I looked at each other, and I was like, I haven't heard interest rates be like a reason for somebody not doing something in like a year. They had been. There was a point in time where somebody's like, oh, I don't want to do it because until interest rates drop, like 2024, I guess. Everybody's pushing back and saying like, oh, well, I'm just going to wait until interest rates drop. I'm going to wait until rates drop. And then like all last year, I didn't get that.
Who said that? You?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it was you or Meg.
I know.
Um,
I said that, but she agreed.
it's gonna be it's not gonna be just such a straight line. They're consumers aren't gonna make it that easy on you because rates have largely been stably like at that 6.5 to six
Right.
six
They haven't
area.
been as like they haven't varied so hasn't been so volatile
Well,
in
no,
the
but they haven't been dropping. Like, I mean, I have people at the end of 24 who went in at 7.825. And,
same.
you know, but as those rates dropped, you get people who can't afford the rate, but then you also have people who are like, well, you know, they're playing blackjack. You know, they're like, no, I don't want to rock now because the rates are going to be down in 6 months. You know, and that depends on the cable news they're watching or the guy on Instagram that they watch or the podcast they listen to. And so what happens when those interest rates stabilize, you don't get that straight line thing like I'm not going to act because of this. It's going to become like uncertainty around Iran, uncertainty about jobs, uncertainty about something else because the interest rate no one can like point to it. Now,
Mhm.
right now they can because it's like I had a payment and then the rate went up. Now I think rates are going to come down eventually, but the rate went up so like I like mathematically can't buy. But when
Yes.
they're, like, kind of just meandering and they're kind of, like, varying in a range, then it's something else, and it's usually just any kind of uncertainty, you know, that they feel about those things that I just mentioned. So, I think it's going to become more of a thing where I that the real estate agent is going to need to understand economics more than ever, and that's why what were the 3 movies I had all 3 of you watch when you came on the team?
I'll tell you one of them.
Oh my god, you can't remember the 3
I
movies?
can tell you one of them. And guess what? It was actually on I was just on my flight to from Florida, and American Airlines has The Big Short as one of the movies you can watch.
It's an outstanding movie.
It's a
Even if you
really
don't
good movie. Honestly,
it
I recommend any like whether you're in the business or not, I think everybody should watch The Big Short. I think it's
yeah,
an incredible movie.
yeah. So is The Big Short, is Margin Call, and Too Big to Fail.
I didn't watch those.
You didn't watch those movies?
No, not the other two.
Oh, you lied.
I'm really outing myself here on a recording.
You didn't watch those movies? You didn't watch that Star Trek episode I told you about either, but we won't get into that. In the end, those are the 3 movies I have well, I theoretically had you guys watch because
You
it
thought you
explains
had
what
us watch.
happened. If you can understand what happened in 2008, I'm not saying we're going into another 2008. If anything, you can see how we're not gonna go into a
That's
2008.
why I think everybody should watch it. Is and
That's
that's
what
what I
people should
usually say is like this isn't 2008, and here is why.
yeah, so but that uncertainty, it does not take a lot to kick open that 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 fear, and when
Well, and
people are
then
fearful
brings us back to social media because then that just gives anybody just something to say on the internet, and then fear gets clicks, and
yeah.
you and I, we don't care about clicks, we just care about
Oh,
putting
if
out
listen,
information. But like,
li listen, Jen, if we cared about clicks, we wouldn't be doing this podcast anymore because we would we are not in this for the clicks. This is obviously a passion project still because if we knew any clicks, we would be in
in trouble.
real deep shit. So I always tell it because people will ask me like, "Oh, about the podcast," like, "Oh, like how many followers you got?" I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how many followers I have. I said, I use this to really just put. I enjoy the shorts because the shorts get a lot of attention on Instagram. I get a lot of DMs from it, and I'm like, but not from like strangers. We just had a stranger come to us, Jen, and
Mhm.
That's why I don't like working with strangers, because they don't value. They don't value it. They're looking for deals. And in the end, I just want my people, the people in my world, to be up to date on what I think is interesting and what I think is relevant in the real estate business.
Or if
And
you want to
so
be in our world and you find this very like validating or interesting and you find value in it.
I do like working with strangers, but not strangers who looking for deals. It's like we are worth what we charge. And I remember getting off that call and you and I being like, okay, who's next? You know?
Well, again, I mean, it goes what I said. We could have a whole episode around
Why
why
don't why don't we do that? Why don't you bust open your list?
it's an open tab on my.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure you're like you're chomping at the bit to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it right now.
Not at 30 minutes in, but
Not 30, no, not 30 minutes and 32 seconds in. We're no, we're not. But listen, let's hop off. But I want to know from people out there, is social media something you use to gauge the quality of your agent? And on a level of 1 to 10, like, how fearful are you of the market? If 10's being like, we're all going to die, and 1's like, meh. Where does everyone feel about the market? All right. Is that fair?
sure.
Or you look like you have something else you want to say?
Oh, never.
Never.
Mm-mm. No,
No.
I'm curious. I'm curious to know about the social media part. I mean, everybody's going to have 8 million opinions about the market and every single corner of where it could go. But
You should get on your stories right now and ask a poll and put a poll in and be like, hey, does social media actually move the needle for you when you're picking a real estate? Just see what people say. And
I
then
know in
next
like
time,
10 minutes you're going to text me and be like, I don't see you on your story, Anuski.
no, I'm running out, so I will not be checking my Instagram in the next 10 minutes. So, but let's hop off and yeah, we'll see you on the next episode talking about how valuable you are.
So valuable.
So valuable, Jen.
Now that I have my PhD master's DO in economics and
You're
politics.
you're made up virtual